Welcome back to Same Bright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful bustier flared gown with balloon sleeves, with basic sleeve under the balloon sleeve. Okay, so if this is what you want to learn in this class, please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to begin this tutorial, to sew this beautiful gown, first you will be needing this fabric. So this is an Adire fabric. I got 3 yards of it for the combination, and this is also another kind of print, and I got 6 yards. Okay, because we are going to have the major flayed part with this. So just as it is on the thumbnail, this is 3 yards, this is 6 yards. So of course I will not make use of all the 6 yards, okay, but it's better you are on the safer side. If you have an excess, you can use it for any other style or design of your choice. So I got myself 3 yards of trimming, that is velvet trimming, to design this dress, and my zipper. Then we need our pattern. So for the upper part of this dress, I'll be using a doffy satin fabric to line it. It's actually a bustier. Then you need your pattern drafting. So this is my pattern, which is my basic bodice pattern, which I've already drafted. So of course you know how the basic bodice pattern looks like. We usually have the front pattern and the back pattern. So this back pattern piece is my body. The back, I don't have any dart to it because I'm not putting any dart to my back bodice, but the front I have a dart to it because of the bustier. My neck right here, neckline here, is my natural neckline. Okay, my bust is 40 divided by 12. Bust 40 divided by 12. So whatever your bust is, that will give you your neckline. Okay, your actual neckline. So if you're on the bigger size and you use 3 by 3, believe me, it will choke. This is a high neckline, so it's better if your bust is 50 divided by 12, whatever you have, you use it right here. So I use 40 divided by 12. That is what I use for the depth and for the width of this neckline. And for the back, I use the same bust divided by 12 for the depth. For the width for front and back should be the same, of course, you know. And I'm using 1 inch. It's a high neckline. So we want to start off this tutorial right away, and we are starting the drafting from this front. So from the front neckline, the first thing you are going to do is so we are going to quickly divide the shoulder seam line. You can see how I place my tape, divide by 2. Then you get the midpoint. I'll connect this midpoint to my bust point. This is the shoulder line, which is the starting point. So in case you are a beginner in this class, this is the shoulder line. This is our chest line. We have a detailed video on how to make this particular pattern on this channel. So if you don't know how to make a basic bodice pattern, please, you can check out our basic bodice pattern here on this channel. So this is bust point, under bust, and this is my waistline. That is for the front. I have the same for the back. I have my shoulder, I have my chest line, I have my waistline for the back. So if you look at the waistline for the back, you can see it's shorter. What I mean by shorter is this, here and here to where this one stops. So within this range, if you take the measurement, that is 2 inches. Can you see? 2 inches. And it's that 2 inches that we use for our bust. That. So if you have not watched the basic body, please try and go back to the basic bodies to understand what we are doing here. So once you have connected, the next thing we want to do is to create this neckline. So the neckline for this dress, from the center front line, this is my center front line, this part, and it's usually on fold depending on the style you are making. So I'll place my tape here. I'm using this part of my tape because this part is not good. So from here, I'll come in by 1/2 inch. so that when I open it, I'll have 1 inch. I need everything at 1 inch. So I'm taking half from here to here, half an inch. So this half an inch now, I'll connect it this way. Can you see how I did that? From here, I'll just connect it that way. So this is going to be the yoke part of this dress, which we are going to cut and join back. So you are going to see how we do all of this in this class. Then this is the armhole. So now, once I'm done with that, the next I want to do is to contour the over bust. Okay, so we are going to contour the over bust part. And to contour the over bust, we are going to use this line to do that. So here, I'm going to place my tape. I'll go in here by 0.75 and I'll come out here by 0.75. So the contouring of this over bust is actually optional. It's optional. You can contour or you might not contour. But for this class, I'll just contour the over bust. So this is the over bust line, and that is the dart which we are going to take off this pattern. So don't bother about replacing any dart. Remember, the neckline right here is running into the armhole. Can you see? So if it's running into the armhole, it's being taken care of. Everything here is taken care of on the armhole. I have a lot of videos which I have explained when to replace your overbust dart and when not to replace your overbust. So you can check out our videos on this channel to know when to replace. So whenever neckline runs into the armhole, we don't replace the dart because it's taken care of on the armhole. So now next is my underbust contour. So this is the underbust. So your underbust, you have to take firmly what you have on your underbust, your tape around your underbust, divide by 4. I have 8.75. So what I have here left is 1.25. My dart is 1.5. So if you want to contour your underbust very well, 1.5. We also have a detailed video here on the best method of contouring our underbust. You can check all of this out to learn how this is being contoured. So from here to here is 1.5. That is your dart if you want to get a good contour line. So once you have 1.5, and automatically you take your tape around your underbust and divide by 4. Mark. Mine is 8.75. So what I have here is 1.25. So 0.25, which is a quarter, I'll impute it there, and 1 inch I'll bring it here. So once I've brought it there, I'll come over this way. You can see how I place my pattern ruler to connect. So make sure you follow these instructions to connect appropriately so you have your underbust contoured very well. So I'll connect this line to this line, as you can see. So now we are done right now, and we have nothing to replace anywhere because this dart I have here was replaced when I drafted my pattern. My waist circumference is 9. My dart is 1. So this is where I should have my waist circumference is 36 divided by 4 is 9. So this is 9. And this is 1.5, which is the dart replacement. So you need to replace your dart on the waistline for you to contour your underbust, and it gives you that perfect fit at the end of the day. So follow the instructions, you will get it appropriately. So we are done with these front bodies right now. So I want to go over to the back before we cut. The pattern is very easy. So for the back, I have my waist divided by, which is 9 inches, divided by 4, which is 9 inches, and I have my bust 40 divided by 4, which is 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is to contour my back because the human back is not straight. So from the center back, I'll go in by 0.75 or 3/4 to avoid zip bulge. So you can see how I placed my pattern ruler this way. So everything here will go out. But once you are done with that, simply come from this, because this is the new center back now. You now place your tape on the new center back and do what? And remark your waist divided by 4. So I'll remark my 9 inches here. I'll come over here, I'll remark my 10 inches. Can you see? So if I've done this, it means I've replaced what I contoured, and at the end of the day I will not have any shortage at all for this dress. So I'm adding everything I contoured. So this is the contour line, and it has been taken care of. So like I said, the neckline remains the same. The neckline remains a high neckline, okay, because this is more or less a high neckline. So unless you want to reduce what you have, maybe you want to make it deeper, but you can even do that on the fabric. Okay, if you feel the neckline is somehow high or choky, after making the dress you can reduce it, but for now this is what we are going to have right away. So I'll just cut out my pattern. I'm cutting out. So I'm cutting the back pattern right now. You can see how I'm doing that. So this back pattern right now, I'm going to cut 2 times of it to form right and left. This is the zipper position. This is our zip part. We'll add our all our seam allowance on our fabric. So by the time I do that, you'll see what I did. So for the back, we'll just go ahead then we'll come over to the accommodation. So I just cut it through the, then I will now take my yoke away that goes into the armhole. Can you see that? So I take off this dart, then close up my bust dart. So that's my bust dart. I close it up. So can you see? I've closed up my bust dart. So now this is all our patterns. Can you see? So next we will do is just to match it up to be sure, from the bust point to the chest line, to be sure you don't have any shortage. So if you notice, you can see we have a whole lot of shortage. So the shortage we have is normal. It's very, very normal. So all we are going to do is to do what? Just put a piece of paper on it this way. The part that we have the shortage, we just put a piece of paper, apply your adhesive or whatever you wish to use, then bring it back. Make sure you match bust point to bust point, match chest line to chest line. It has to be on the chest line for you to identify the shortage. So I'll just go ahead and do what? Place my my ruler again from that point to the, can you see, from the beginning of that line, and I'm going to do what? Make sure it aligns back. It aligns back to where it started, and this is where, can you see? So that's what you need to do at that point. So you just bring it and take off this. So it's as simple as that. So I'll go back and cut back. So I'm just taking my time to show you this, so you don't just go joining the dress that way. Okay, so here is it, and this is it. So by the time we join right now, at least we have something very close. Then we'll come back with our yoke. The yoke will start from this point after the 1/2 inch, and it will go this way. I'm just trying to show you a picture of what we have. So you can see this is the armhole, and we have nothing to lose at all. So having it this way, run this way, will tell you what you have on the fabric at the end of the day. So we are good to go with this pattern, and we are going to cut this on fabric right now. So I will replicate, add my seam allowances on the fabric, on the lining, and I'll be back to show you. Alright, so for this fabric I have 3 yards of it. So what I usually do is, so I don't run out of fabric, what I usually do is, before I cut my upper busty, I like to cut the flay for the down. So whatever I have, I can use it for my upper part. So now we are done drafting. We are going to cut these 3 yards. We are using these 3 yards for our flay. So our flay is half a circle, half circle, and you know that half circle is 180 degrees. Okay, so this 180 degrees, we'll be using 3.14. okay, that is the formula for it. So now my waist, I'm working with my round waist measurement I'm working with is 36. So this 36 inches, I will add 2 inches for zipper allowance. So my 2 inches for zipper allowance, now I will divide everything by 3.14. So whatever I have is going to serve as the radius. So my radius right now, 36 plus 2 is 38, divided by 3.14. I'm working with 12 inches as my radius. So this 12 inches now, the length of my Ankara, the length from for the skirt part of this dress is 30. So I'm using 30 from my waist on the skirt line to the hem. I'm using 30. So plus my radius, which is 12, everything will give me 42. So now I'm going to fold my 360, my 180 degrees flay. So I'm using 3 yards, like I said. So 3 yards will be enough for that flay from your waist to the hem. It's going to be very much enough. So I folded it, as you can see, I folded it equally. Can you see that? So now this is the folded edge. So I just bring in the folded edge right away. So if you are making a 360 or a 180 degrees, all you need to do is to do what? Just fold your 3 yards of Ankara into 2 and have one part folded edge. So it is from that one part folded edge now that we'll start to mark our, from this point we are going to mark our 42 length. So I'm going to mark my 42 inches. Can you see? I'll mark the first one. Marking the 42 length all around right now, and I'm cutting it out, as you can see, marking the radius as well. So this is the half a circle, and that is what we are going to work with right now. Okay, so you can see we have the full half circle. So by the time we get to the down part, I'll show you how to create that other part of the flay. Let's go back to the table. So I cut the lining as well, but on a shorter length. The length of the lining is shorter than the main fabric, but it's still half a circle with the same radius calculated. Okay, so right now we'll go over to the table. I'll be showing you how to cut out the pattern of the mixed fabric. So to create that pattern, you can see I still have my half a circle on fold. Can you see? So this is my center front. Okay, I'll make a notch to my center front, and this is my center back where I have the zipper. So to create that pattern, I'm going to measure unfold from center front to the center back. So here I have 20 inches. So the midpoint of my center front, center back is 10 inches. So I'll mark 10 inches for the upper part. So once I've marked this 10 inches on the upper part, I will turn the down part. You can see me turning the down part. So from the down part center front to the down part center back, I'll also take the measurement of what I have from there and find the midpoint. Or you can just do this. This is the back center back and this is the center front. Just match them together and place your notch. So I just match them together this way. And then once I have it together this way, I'll now place my notch to find the center for the both of them. Okay, all right. So once that is done, I'll open it up again to the part I have my front, to the part I just notched. So I'm going to rule a line on that point. Can you see? I'll just rule a line meeting what I have on this. Okay, so this becomes the side of this flare dress. So the next thing I will do after that is to place this is my waistline. My waist is 17. So I'll simply place my 17 inches. Because I have half an inch, I'll bring in half an inch and place it at 16.5. So whatever your waist is, just come in by half an inch and place it the waistline. Okay, that is your front length. Then mark your hip on that line. My hip is 9 inches. I'll count 1 2 3 4 inches. That is where we'll start the creation of that flare. So from this point to the center front, from the center front, I will mark 2 inches, 1 inch, sorry. So when I open it, I'll have 2 inches. So this is 1 inch. So now I'm going to create a curve. Can you see me? I'm using my hand to create that curve we have right there on that dress for the other part of the flare. So it depends on how you want this flare to run. If you still want to connect it to the hip line, it's all by choice. You can come down by 4 inches, you can come down by 2 inches. Okay, so it depends. So on the hemline, I'll also come in on the hemline of the center back. I'll still come in by half. I'll come in by 2 inches because 1 inch is my zipper allowance. So to have that, I'll come in by 2 inches. So I'll come in by 2 inches and I'll continue that curve. Can you see? I'll continue to meet up. So what I'm having on this curve, I just feel like making it rounded. So I can just decide to go a little bit up from my hip line. Let me just come down by 1.5. I just want the curve. Or this is what we'll do to get it accurately. On this part, just fold it this way. So we cut everything at once. I believe this class you're understanding what I'm doing here. So what I will do, as I folded it now at that 1.5, I'll just create, I just want it to fall. That's what I'm actually trying to achieve. Can you see? So I think it folded at 1.5 for me. So it depends on where you actually want that to be. So the way it is now, I'll come over here and I'm going to cut. Okay, so I'm supposed to add my half-inch seam allowance, but since I've started cutting, it's okay. So I'll just go ahead and cut off the upper, this part, and this is what I'm going to use. Okay, so I just cut this way. Can you see? So this is what you are going to have. So we'll place this on the fabric. We are going to fold the other fabric, place this on top of it, and that will be the continuation of what we have on this. Okay, so this is what our flare looks like. So by the time we add the other part, it gives us that effect. So now I come in with the other fabric, as you can see. So I've already placed it on fold to the extent that will accommodate the other part. So this is my folded edge. I'll place it on another fold. Okay. So I've placed it on another fold. So I'll just go ahead and do what? And place what I've cut out on top of it. So this is what I've cut out, and this is the folded part of it. So the folded part of it, you can see these parts are on fold, they are on fold. So the folded part of it, I'll just simply place it and pin. Okay, so I can just move it a little to have. Okay, so I'll pin it now, and I'm going to cut it out again. So now you can see what I have. So on this part I added 0.5 to stitch it to the upper part of the dress. Okay, and here on the hem I did not add anything because I have the length already, so I didn't add any seam allowance. So that is how to go about it. So I'll just come over here and notch. I'll also come over here on the hem and notch. Okay, so the notches will show the side that will be on the side. So I'll take off my pin, take off this one. I don't need this one again. So I'll bring back what I have right here. Can you see? So when I open it, this is what I have, and I'm going to place my notch. Okay, place your notch on this line also. So when we are joining this, the essence of these notches is so that when you are joining, you know where exactly to join to the side. So I just place my notches, as you can see. All right, so now when I open it up, I know this is my side, and I'll bring in one of them. There are two, one for front and one for back. So this is how we are going to join it. So we'll join it from here to here, and at the end of the day it gives us that flare effect we have on the thumbnail. Can you see? So right now I'm going to join this one to this one, then join the other one, then I'll bring it back for you to see. So now I've cut out my patterns for the upper piece, and I'm placing my notch. I've sewed my bustier, as you can see right there, trimming them off. I'm sewing my yoke. So now you can see I'm done joining the yoke right now. So this is what you expected to have at the end of the day. So if you have something like this, simply do what? Cut it off. So that is how to join the yoke. I also did the same for the lining. So you can see I joined the yoke for the lining. So I'll also trim off what I have there as excess, as you can see. All right, so we are done now. So the next thing we want to do now is to come in with our bias. So you just sew your bias. So I'll just change my thread now and use my red thread to sew the bias. So let me do that now. I've sewn my velvet bias. So next is to bring the lining. This is the lining. I'm going to match the neckline right side to right side. So I'll sew at 0.5 and top stitch. So once I'm done with that, I'll also sew the back neckline. So I'm going to do all of this as I get to my machine right now. So the back neckline, I'll just bring them the way they are. Just lay them right side to right side, this way, that way. So I'm going to sew the neckline, top stitch, give them a good press. So once I'm done, I'll equally join lining to lining at the seam allowance of 2 inches, fabric to fabric at the seam allowance of 2 inches. I'll do it, then I'll bring it back for you to see. All right, so now I'm done with the neckline, as you can see. So I've joined them, lining and fabric, as you can see, and I top stitched. So I'll just go ahead and give it a good press. Then for the back piece, I've also joined them and top stitched. Can you see? So everything is ready right now. So it's time for us to sew the seam line. So to sew the seam line, I'll just pick up one of them like this. Can you see how I have it? Then I'll open up this, match this to this, and flip everything this way. I'll flip everything and secure with my pin. So that's how I'm going to sew the 4 of them. So I'll just run my stitch here, so I'll have a perfect inseam finishing. So I'll do that for the both now. So now you can see I'm done joining the neckline. So I have lining and fabric as one piece, as you can see right here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to flip the back. I'm going to join my fabric to fabric at 2 inches. I'll join lining to lining. I'll do that for the rest part of this dress. So the next thing is to start sewing the down piece of it. So we've already cut out the down piece of it. So all we need to do is to attach, to sew this part. Okay, we are going to sew it now. So I'll just go ahead and sew the notched part, the part I notched. So I'm going to get the front piece and match it up with my front, right side to right side. That's what I mean, on the notch for one piece. So I'll now go ahead and sew. I'll do the same for the other part. All right, so now you can see I'm done joining this is the center front, and I've joined the other patch. As you can see, I joined it up to the center back. Can you see? So the next thing we will do now to the flay half circle is to start sewing the trimming. So unfortunately I don't have enough trimming right here. So if you want to know the exact quantity of trimming you need, all you need to do is to measure from this point. Just take the measurement to this point. So whatever you have, times it by 2. That will give you the exact trimming. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll just go ahead and sew my trimming to wherever it will get to. Even if it's on the side it gets to, I can get another trimming to continue with it later. So I'm done running my trimmings, as you can see. So I'm going to join the upper part of this half circle. So this is a half circle flay, and this is the center front. I'll just come in with my bustier right now. I'll sew only the center, the fabric. So I'll put the darts together to find the mid or center front. So this is the center front. I place a notch to it. I already have my notch for the flay. So I'm going to sew around it now from center front to the end, center front to the end. All right, so I'm done joining the bustier and the down piece. So I'm going to sew the lining as well. I'll be sewing lining, the flay to the for the lining. Okay, so I'll sew it on the lining part. All right, so now I'm done installing my zipper to the dress, and we are done with this dress. So this is the zipper. So we are going to go over to the sleeve right now. So for the sleeve, you need your basic sleeve. Okay, so I've cut out my basic sleeve and I've added my seam allowances. So I cut it 1 inch above my elbow line. So this is my elbow line. I stepped up 1 inch for it. So we need the basic sleeve first. So make sure you place a notch for the front sleeve. Okay, so I've placed my notch and I'm going to put my sleeve together to create my sleeve head. So I'll just place a notch for my sleeve head. So I'll set this one aside. We are going to pleat our balloon sleeve inside the basic sleeve right now. So let's create the balloon sleeve. So now for the balloon sleeve, you have to place your fabric on fold. As you can see, I placed my fabric on fold. So this is what I have. So this fabric came at Ankara length of 45. So when you place it on fold, it will be half of it, as you can see. So right now I'm going to create my balloon sleeve. So to create that balloon sleeve, I'll place it on fold once again. So I'm placing it on fold. So the second fold, that is what I'm making right now for the sleeve. So this second fold, you are going to fold it in a way that you have because you are going to pleat the upper part of this, so you fold it in a way that you have about 20 inches. Can you see? 20 inches width. So that is how I placed it. So when placing it on fold, make sure that you fold it at 20 inches. So the width when placed on another fold will be 20 inches. So from the folded part, I'll place my tape and make sure I measure 20 inches. Okay, so that is my 20 inches. So from the upper part now, I'll just come down. I'm going to come down by 4.5 inches. So this 4.5 inches will serve as where the sleeve head is going to start. Okay, so this is where the sleeve head is going to start. From the upper part, measure 4.5 inches and rule your line. Then from this point, you'll be having about 18 inches left. Can you see? You have about 18 inches left from that point. So if you're using Ankara, you surely get exactly these figures. So now I'm going to measure on this line my 20 inches and make my mark. I'll go to the hem. I'll measure 20 inches and I'll create my mark. So I'll just go ahead and do what? Rule a straight line to meet, just to form a box 20 inches by 18 inches after the 4.5. So now the next thing I will do, this is my sleeve head now. I'll also come down by another 4.5 inches, which will serve as my sleeve cap. So I'll rule a line right now, which will serve as my sleeve cap. So because we are going to have a gather, that's why I have to take from end to end 20 inches. So I'll find the midpoint of 20, which is 10. Okay, so this midpoint of 20, which is 10, I'll come up to the next line. I'll mark same 10 inches and I'll mark my line. Then within this line and this line, I'll divide and get my midpoint. So that is my midpoint. So at this midpoint right now, I'm going to place the sleeve curve. Okay, so if I'll be using my pattern ruler for the sleeve curve, I'll be placing it this way and placing it this way, just like we when making your sleeve. So I just place it. Can you see? So what this is what you are going to have. Then I'll come up from this point by 0.5 for the back sleeve. I'll also place my pattern ruler from there for this back sleeve. I'll repeat the same from that half an inch to meet with what I have right there. So now I've created my back sleeve. So now this excess we have here, we want to have it pop up. We need this sleeve to pop up a little bit. So to pop up a little bit, I'll just do this. Can you see? So all this part are the parts I'm going to gather for this particular sleeve. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Okay, so by the time we gather it, we are going to see the result. So I'm going to cut everything now, both back and front sleeve together. So for this particular sleeve now, we are no longer going to make use of our front and back. We'll use one as the same. So I'll make my notch, and this is the whole sleeve I'm going to gather to form the balloon sleeve. So now this part, I'll just cut it straight. The 20 inches, I'll cut it straight. Okay, so that's how we are going to form this balloon sleeve. So by the time I gather this on the basic sleeve, this is my basic sleeve. So by the time I go over to the machine now, creating my gathers, so I will have everything. I will sew everything. To this point, I'll start gathering my sleeve. Can you see? I'll start gathering my sleeve. I'll start gathering my sleeves. You can see the puff. Then I'll come over here too, and I'm going to gather. You can see the sleeve is forming the puff. So there are so many kinds of balloon sleeve. Okay, so you can do this, you can do. So right now, this is the hem part of my sleeve. You can see I've placed my gathers from end to end, and this is the sleeve head. So I also placed my ran my gather stitches to the sleeve. I also ran my gather stitches. So I just want to show you how I'm going to gather this. Remember, I have my notch on the sleeve head. So once I get to this sleeve head, I'll just stop. So I'm pushing all my gathers to form that puff on the sleeve head. Then I'll pick up the thread I'm picking for my gathers is the one below. Okay, of course you know how to make your gathers. So I'll just gently pick this to the sleeve. Can you see it's forming the puff for us? That puff we need is forming right there. So this is it. Can you see? So you can see how the sleeve looks like. So I'll just come over with my pattern, my sleeve cap. So this is the front part of it. I'm still taking note of it. So the sleeve cap is going to be the way you are going to attach it. This is the right side. So I'll just turn right side to right side. That's how we are going to attach it. So I'll go over to the machine now. I'll sew my gathers to this, to the end. Can you see? I'll sew it from end to end, then I'll come back. So now you can see I'm done sewing the gathers on the basic sleeve. So the next thing we are going to do is to put them together. Okay, so we are going to put them together this way on the seam, and I'll just sew off my seam allowance. So whatever you add for your seam allowance, if it's 1 inch or 0.5, just sew across it. So I'll do that now. So now I've sewn it from end to end. So the next I will do is to bring in, turn it to the right side. So I'm turning it to the right side. So the basic sleeve will now be inside of the dress of the sleeve. So I'll match my sleeve. seam to seam. Then after that, you find a notch for the gathers and notch for the basic sleeve. So I'll now go over to my machine. I'm going to place this way to sew on top of my gathers. So I'll push all the gathers to the sleeve head, so I have the puff I need. Alright, so these are my sleeves right now. You can see the inside of the sleeve is with the basic sleeve, but it has the puff outside. So that's how to go about this balloon sleeve. Okay, so the same thing for this. So now I'm going to look into the sleeve to find out the front piece. So this is where I have the notch for the front, meaning that this part will be for the right sleeve. So this is the front and this is the mark I have. So I'll just sew the sleeve right. So I'm going to turn this to the wrong side, so I'll be able to sew my sleeve. So this is the sleeve that is on the right side. So I'll just push in the sleeve and match seam line to seam line, match armhole to armhole. Okay, so I'll just go to my machine, pin and sew around. I'll do that for the both sleeves. Alright, so we come to the end of this tutorial. I have sewn my balloon sleeve. At least you have learned another method of sewing your balloon sleeve. Okay, so with a basic sleeve inside, so you can see the inside of the sleeve looks neat and fine, and this is what the front dress looks like. Can you see that? So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial, and if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends. Drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming. See you in the next class. Bye.